Good day everyone, it is Star6 Minis with another video about how we can transform these old desert themed bases into cool ice themed bases. My method is based off of Goblin Den Studios method. He uses resin, I don't have that, so I'm going to show you how we can get around that and do it on the cheap. Do however go and check out his channel if you do have some UV resin and UV light lying around. He makes it look super easy. The first thing we do is clean all of the old muck off the old bases. I used a combination of craft glue and contact glue before, so it took some work with the scalpel and sanding to get all of that muck off. But you don't have to be too careful. Some extra texture is always good for some variation in your bases. After this, we prime them black. You can use an airbrush, but I just went the quick fast method with the paintbrush. Now, a big part of what we're going to be doing today is creating the illusion of depth on our bases. We will be using a couple of methods for this. Firstly, we're going to be painting our bases from a nice black all the way up to a bright turquoise. So you don't have to be too careful when you blend these. Get your paint onto your bases quite wet. Blend them so that you have a nice bright highlight. This is going to be where the ice is closest to the surface. So you'll see how we're going to enhance this later by using gloss and matte to further enhance depth. Once this is dried, you can use any kind of gloss medium or even a gloss varnish or lacquer. I use acrylic gloss pouring medium because it has that quality of looking nice and wet, but again, this is doing something on the cheap. So use whatever gloss product you have lying around. Slap it on nice and thick and wait for it to dry. Once it is dry, we want to create some weathering on top of this newly created ice surface. So take a sanding sponge, normal sanding paper, a scraping brush, or the side or front of your hobby knife, and create some scratches. Now the best way to do this is to create some variation. So creating randomness, we need to trick our brains that's always trying to form patterns between things. So jump around from different spaces into different directions and always try to avoid doing something in even numbers. Go for odd and go for random. Now that our ice is done, it is time to make some snow. Again, doing this cheaply means that I'm not going to go and buy any kind of snow flock or snow medium. I'm going to make my own snow medium by using a combination of craft glue, of white ink and fine sand, mixing these together, slapping them on the bases. I will wait till they're a little bit dry before I tap and tease them out as they dry to create more of a fluffy and rough snow texture. Part of creating the illusion of depth is sealing this gradient underneath the gloss surface. What we're adding on top is all going to be done in matte. This snow texture with the ink on top, we will be covering with a wash and further matte paint, so the gloss and matte contrast will further enhance the depth that something is happening beneath the ice. Once the paint and the wash has dried, I come in with a fine tipped brush and I just pick out a few of the scratches we created earlier and I give them a little bit of an accent just to highlight them. I also take some time to make sure that here and there I pick out some of the edges of the bases just to create a little bit of volume and a little bit of containment within my base. It just rounds it off nicely before I blackline the trims. I hope you enjoyed this video. Also, go check out the original creator of this method that I've just made a derivative, cheap version of, Goblin Den Studios. His link can be found in the description below.